Hello, hello. My name is Kayla Brick. I am a professional illustrator on Upwork, and today we're talking about proposals or cover letters or all of the various names that Upwork chooses to call them, which are not the most intuitive, but here we are. So, before I talk about how we write a proposal on Upwork, let's talk about how we get there. We have our job listings on Upwork. We have all of the ones in here. I like to use filters myself, but I talk about that in other videos. This job listing I found looks decent. I would like to look at it a little bit closer. But in order to get to the screen that I'm talking about, we're going to click that little apply now in the top right corner. This is where we create our proposal. We have our specialized profiles. I'm not going to cover this too in depth. Profiles that we can send to a client, one general profile and two specialized profiles. Basically, the difference is that we have our general profile, which is everything we've ever done, every testimonial we've ever gotten, every portfolio that we've ever created is all sitting in one place. And then we have our specialized profiles, which are a little more specific, a little more targeted to a certain kind of client. Then we have our description, which is going to be super important for this particular exercise. We're going to be looking at this thing milestones versus by projects. I do by project whenever I can. Milestones, a bit presumptuous to break it down into milestones when we haven't had a conversation with a client. But again, milestones, projects, all that stuff, other videos for that. Today we're just talking about the cover letter, which if you've ever been on Upwork and you go through a job listing and you just do profile you're going to pick, you go through the duration of the project, it all feels very easy so far. And then all of a sudden we get to this guy, this nebulous little white box, which feels very blank right now. Whenever I was first on Upwork, I didn't know what to put in here. And I thought either I create a template that I use over and over and over again. I write something super in depth, very specific to the client's particular thing, and that ended up taking a million years to complete. And so I ended up sort of finding a middle ground. And you will find tons of different proposal templates online. There's tons of other YouTube channels that have them for you. Mine is in the description if you would like it. But essentially, this thing is not super complicated. What you need to do when it comes to a proposal like this, I'm going to put it back on screen here. We have a couple of sentences, and this is because I don't think personally, a proposal should be much longer than a couple of sentences. The experience as a client on the other side of things is overwhelm. They're drowning in proposals whenever they first put a job listing on the platform. Some of them will get 5 to 10, others of them will get 20 to 50 of these guys, and you only have 2 seconds if you even get into that top part of their screen whenever they're first looking at their job listing, which I have filters and things to show you how to do. But they're overwhelmed, and all they want a lot of times is to find someone who understands the platform, a really good, solid portfolio, and can guide them through the process, understands what they're looking for, and can help them. They don't really care a whole lot about your previous experience on other platforms, what you've done. Mistakes I notice a lot of times with these is that they're very me, I, accolades, all the things I've done, and not a whole lot about what the client needs to get done. So I really want you to focus on, we don't want a full dissertation from you because the client is already drowning in tons of proposals and we want to get to them really fast, show them that we know exactly what they want and what they need to do next in order to actually work with you. So let's break this thing down a little bit. I have their name, which in other videos I talk a little bit more about how to find this thing, but you can find their name in the review section a lot of times, but if you don't, then hi there is totally fine. Your professional, whatever they want. So in this case, children's book illustrator. Top rated, if you want to mention that, that's fine. You get top rated and a lot of the badges on Upwork just by using the platform. And Upwork continues to change when they calculate that number, how often they do it. I have been top rated. I've lost top rated status. I've gained it back. And I used to chase it like nothing else. And now at this point, if it comes back, I'm happy about that. And if I don't get it, then I don't worry about it too much. It's not something I really want to spend a lot of time on at this point. So you specialize in whatever they're asking for. That could be a style. It could be if you're doing, let's say, web design, you specialize in a certain minimalistic web design landing pages or something to that effect, or you do children's book watercolor designs, something like that. So see what they're actually asking for. You should read this thing, look through it. If they have attachments, look through those things too. We're always going for speed when it comes to this, but it's super important to actually read the thing to see what they're actually looking for. It's not enough to just say, I am a professional at this thing. It's much better if we can get into the nitty gritty of what they're actually looking for. So what's important to this client? What do they care about the most? It may be the actual project, of course, but it also might be time related things. It could be a certain style that they're looking for. It could be this is a gift and they're hoping to get it done a certain way. All of these things are going to make you stand out when it comes to the questions that you ask and how you put this into your proposal. So 32 pages is standard children's book. Mid-January, so they have a time frame related thing here. Mid-January, so I might mention that I can get this done by August. Really important to them. That's like the second line of their description here. 2 main characters with a few background characters, so a little bit of character design. So I might say I'm a professional children's book artwork and character design. Deadlines and communication needs. I have a line/sketch of the first book before the coloring is done. So this is the way they want it done. So I would repeat that back to them. Always, 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 we want to repeat back to the client exactly what they're looking for. I noticed you need 32 pages by August, completed by August. They don't mention anything about the content of what this is exactly, so the storyline or anything like that. I can help with that, which is, of course, the thing that the client cares about most in this case. They want to make sure that you mention to them what you do and how you help with the thing that they want done. Because a lot of times people use templates on here, so they just say, I'm a professional illustrator, I do children's books, but it's just the basic template, just copy and pasted over and over again. It's not really specific to what the client's asking for. So the fact that I've even mentioned the time frame is going to make the client notice this proposal a little bit more, especially since it's in that first couple lines. Good idea to ask a couple of questions to the client, even if they have laid everything out in the description, which is unusual, but if they did that, that would be really lovely. But most clients are not going to do that. If let's just say that they've done most of the general questions, it's a good idea to ask something anyway. It's an awkward process to work with people online to begin with, to trust a platform, especially Upwork, which is a little bit not super easy to use, not the most intuitive in certain ways. We love it to death, by the way. Love it to death, but it is clunky in certain areas, especially for clients on their side of things. So ask them a question, give them an easy way to talk to you. So in this case, I would want to get a script. Do you have a script or references for the character designs? Something like that is going to work just fine. That helps clarify the contract, but it also makes it easier to talk to you as well. This here, probably the most important line in this thing. Every line is intentional in a cover letter, in a proposal, but this line is probably the most important. It's called a call to action. It is in marketing just a next step that we want a client to take. So if we want the client to take a look at our profile, that would be a really good one. I like to ask them to take a look at my profile and then to look at my portfolio and then to reach out to me. In this case, send me a private message so that we can work the details of their project. If our client is new on Upwork, which a lot of people are new on Upwork, they're not going to always know exactly what to do next. And so it really makes you feel like someone they can trust whenever you give them next steps when it comes to working with you. And of course, that's what the next step we want them to take anyway. But that's the best way to reach out to you next when it comes to creating a contract on here, is actually sending you a private message. That is the basic structure of a proposal on here. We don't want to mention I'm new on here and I'm just getting my first profile going. We don't want to mention any of that. We don't want to be me on our side of things, but that's how clients are in their mode on their side of Upwork. When they first put their job listing on here, they have a very, very blinder focus. This is, I need to get somebody hired. I'm really just kind of looking at things. And the only way to get their attention is to just keep it It's short and sweet. Don't talk about all the things that you've done. They can take a look at your profile and make that decision for themselves. So just keep it super simple. I do the thing that you want done. I have noticed the things that you want, time frame, specs of their job, logistical things, and then you ask them a couple questions, show them a little interest in their job, and then give them direction to take with you. That's really it. Make this thing any more complicated than that. There's other techniques I've seen online that talk about adding extra lines in here. This is my personal way that I do this. This is the way that I recommend my students do this because I've seen it get results. But that doesn't mean that there's not other ways to do this. Try all kinds of things when you're first on here just to see what works for you personally. I like this. Keeps it simple, keeps it short and sweet. Clients don't feel like they're reading a full dissertation, a full novel from me. But give it a go. Try it out. And if you want it, there's a link in the description. Download it and get it from my school group. I really hope that it helps get you a little bit more attention on Upwork. I have more videos on how to do the full thing here, the submitting a proposal thing, how to analyze job listings. I have a tutorial video on Upwork, all that good stuff. So if you need me, you know where to find me, and I will see you guys in the next one.